The CB500X just might be one of the best starter adventure motorcycles out there that you can buy in 2025 and beyond. In today's video, I want to talk about why I think the CB500X is a great starter adventure motorcycle, comparing it to some other adventure motorcycles that are in the starter class, and yeah, why I think it's a good motorcycle. We're jumping into the video today. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the You'll Make It Great YouTube channel, where we do all things adventure motorcycling, travel trailering, off-roading, and just adventure automotive lifestyle. So if you like any of this type of content, check out the channel. But with that out of the way, I want to do like a kind of a more chill, relaxed video. I'm inside the garage talking about the CB500X. So yes, I do know this is the CB500F and not the X, but I want to talk about why I still think the X is a great starter adventure motorcycle. Comparing it to something else is going to be, you know, this is my KTM 890 Adventure, but I still think the CB500X would make a great starter adventure motorcycle. But yeah, so I did spend some time actually sitting on some of the 500Xs, and I was actually doing some research on the X before we got this F. This motorcycle was more for my wife. She wanted more of a street-oriented bike versus the adventure bike, so the reason why we went with this. But I did actually a pretty decent amount of research looking at the 500X. So I was actually looking at the 390 Adventure as well, so kind of in that beginner class, I would say, like the small or, you know, middleweight adventure motorcycle before I eventually got the KTM 890. And when you stack the 390 Adventure up against the CB500X, they're actually pretty good competitors of each other. But yeah, I know that there are other motorcycles out there in this class, like the Kawasaki Versa X300. I know the Royal Enfield or the Himalayan, the BMW GS like 310, I want to say. And there's like the Suzuki Storm. There's some other ones like the Yamaha Touareg 700, things like that. And there's even the Honda NX500, which is actually like the newer version of the CB500X. CF Moto has theirs and stuff like that. So I know that there are other ones, and we can't forget the Kawasaki KLR 650. And I believe there's like a Honda, what is it, the CRF 300. So there are a ton of different bikes out there. You can still get a lot of bang for your buck for the 500X, especially on the pre-owned market. There's a ton of them out there, and the aftermarket support, it's like a lot. Also, when it comes down to the Kawasaki 300, I do have a 300R that is just used for dirt, but I'm talking about mostly like adventure motorcycles that you can take on-road and off-road. So for me, the big difference with the CB500X and like something like the KTM 390, well, I say that the 390 and the 500X, they match up really well, even though I know this is not a 390, this is my 890 Adventure, but I'm just using this for comparison's sake. But the 390 does have a 399cc single cylinder engine, makes about 45 horsepower, while the CB500X has a parallel twin 471cc, makes about 47, 48 horsepower or something like that. The torque is also fairly close in both bikes. I believe the 390 has just a little bit more torque, but the big difference is the 390 is a lot lighter. It's like 388 pounds versus the CB500, which is gonna be 439 pounds. So it's definitely a bigger bike. Comes down to weight. And that's a pro and a con. The 390 does have a smaller gas tank versus the 500X, and then the 390 has a slightly shorter ride height versus the 500X. Now, I can tell you from my own personal experience after sitting on both bikes, because like I said before, I was in the market for a KTM 390 Adventure before I got the 890. I was thinking the 390 would have been a nice compromise of it could do everything I wanted it to do. And it was just like a little bit smaller because we were traveling across country with that motorcycle. Like I was putting it on this trailer that is behind me and we were taking it back. So I was thinking of getting a smaller bike, but I'm actually happy I did get the bigger motorcycle, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. If you want to see that video, it'll be linked down below. But sitting on the 390, you know, compared to the 500X, there were some big key differences. I would say the 390 for sure, at least for me, in my personal experience, it felt a bit small and skinny. I'm a little bit taller, so, you know, take that for what it is. If you're like a little bit shorter, that might be something that you want. It felt very, very light, which was nice. But with that, going on highways, I don't know how comfortable it will be over long distances. Granted, I know there are other people on YouTube who literally take the 390s and taking them across country. So like, you can do it, you know what I mean? You can deal with it. But I know for myself, getting on the 390, I definitely felt like it was a little bit smaller than what I wanted it to be. And it just felt almost in a way like it was a toy, if that makes sense, which isn't bad. Probably like doing strictly just off-roading, it would be really fun. It would be something similar to like my Kawasaki 300R. It feels really lightweight, fun off-roading and everything like that. But if you want something that's a little bit more dual sport purpose, I think that the 500X makes a great compromise, because yes, the 500X, once again, I know this is not an X, this is an F, but just using it for comparison's sake, it is slightly heavier. And being a little bit heavier, it does have its pros and its cons. The pros is, oh yeah, especially with it being a parallel twin engine, it's a little bit better just on the highway, a little bit more smoother power delivery and everything like that. It's not as buzzy when you're going faster on the highway. Having a little bit extra weight too is just nicer on the highway. You don't get thrown around as much. With the X, it does have a higher windscreen. This actually bike didn't even come with this windscreen. I just put this on here, but the X has the higher windscreen. And then the other thing that I want to talk about is like the reliability aspect. Now, I don't want to talk badly about something like the KTM 390, because there are a ton of those bikes out there. The 390 Dukes, the 390 Adventure, 390 Enduro now, which actually looks really cool. I was actually like really interested in that. There's lots of them out there, but one thing I will say, Honda, for the most part, has been pretty reliable. There's a ton of these bikes out there as well. So like, that is another aspect. When you talk about the Japanese bikes, they're pretty reliable overall. So I mean, you just do the basic maintenance, they're pretty reliable bikes. Especially if you're looking for something that you can just get on, ride, have fun, do what you want to do, and then you don't got to worry about it too much. That's the reason why I'm leaning towards the 500. I will say now, I personally think this engine is a fine engine. Is it the fastest thing in the world? No. So with the X, it's definitely not going to be like, you're not going to be beating people, on like drag racing, stuff like that. Even though any motorcycle could really take like most cars like off the line. So it's not like it's like a dog, but once you get on something a little bit bigger, have something a little bit more horsepower, you're like, oh yeah, I can definitely see the difference. But I think this engine, it's a fine engine. It is a fun engine. Well, maybe I'll dare to say fun. Even with this one, the CB500F, the more Street Fighter version of this bike, or the naked style version of this motorcycle, I think this engine is a decent engine. Even in like 4th gear, you do full throttle, it still pulls pretty decently. If you're on the highway, 6th gear, maybe you want to downshift to like 5th to, pass and things like that. But if you leave it in its tallest gear, roll on the throttle, you'll still get up and moving. So I don't think it's like a bad engine. I mean, honestly, I think like this engine will be better than the single cylinder that's in the 390. The 390 will probably get a lot more buzzy up in the higher range of the RPMs, just because it is a single cylinder. And then the other big thing is to mention is the gas tank. With the gas tank being bigger on the 500X, that gives you more range. You can go further, obviously. Not that I don't think you're gonna be like too worried with the 390, but having that extra range is nice. Plus, when you fill up the gas tank, it makes it heavier too. And honestly, for me, like the biggest thing is like the highway stability. Because when you're doing like trips and plans and stuff like that, most times you're gonna be taking the motorcycle to wherever you wanna go and go on a trail. And most times you gotta go on the highway. So for me, I'm more, you can probably tell, I'm more biased on making sure that the motorcycle is more comfortable on the road. And then once you get there, you can still have fun. Because at the end of the day, most people, if you're buying a adventure motorcycle and not just a dedicated off-roading bike, you're going to be driving it on the road at some point in time. You want to make sure if you're on the road, it is comfortable and you're able to do it safely. And so for me, I definitely sway much more, and I want to make sure if I'm on the road that the bike is going to perform well on the road. In cases like with my dirt bike, the Kawasaki 300R, that is just purely meant for off-road, so I want it to be as light as possible. I don't care about it being comfortable or anything like that, because I know like that 100% is going to be off-road. And yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But if you're buying a ADV adventure motorcycle or dual sport, whatever you want to call it, most times you're going to be on the road. So the reason why I sway just a little bit more in that direction. But I mean, overall, I think it really just depends on what you want. I just personally think like that the 500X makes a great a starter ADV motorcycle. They're not too expensive right now, especially because they did come out with the newer models. So you can get the 500X. There's a ton of them out there. I believe like they're under like $5,000 you can find them for. So that's a pretty good deal for a adventure motorcycle, something that is going to be mostly reliable, and if it does break, you can fix it. Like there's tons of Honda like dealerships and parts and stuff like that. So that's always a nice aspect about it. Or you can do something completely different like I did. My first adventure motorcycle was the KTM 890. Just say screw getting a starter one, getting a bigger one, if that's what you want to do. But I'm curious, what do you guys think makes a great starter adventure motorcycle? Let me know in the comment section below, because I'm very curious about that. Do you think something like the 500X will make a great starter bike? Or getting one of the other motorcycles that I listed off in the beginning of this video? Let me know in the comment section below. But if you want to see the video when I was talking about taking this KTM 890 Adventure off-roading for the very first time, check the video out right here. Subscribe for more. I'm trying to make it to 20K by the end of this year. Let's see if we can do it, guys. That would be great. I just hit 10K earlier this year. I want to see if I can go by 10K subscribers by this year and getting to 20. So that'll be great. Subscribe for more. See you in the next one.